this video will be a response to your video, which was a response to my questions. And I hope this video won't be too long. Maybe aiming for around like 15 minutes because I want to keep it concise. I want to, shorten the time between my thinking and just speak faster and clearer, as you mentioned in the video. And so yeah, I'm gonna share my thoughts on the response, and I've taken some notes, some phrases and words that I thought were interesting and I should touch on. So yeah, let's get started. The first thing that you kind of mentioned was food being, whether it was influenced or just something that people kind of just have innate, in them. I think this is definitely something that is influence 100%. Like anything that, you know, any preference really, like whether liking or disliking food, your taste in music, whatever. This is all part of influence from your environment, your parents, your genetics from so long, like history with your genetics from your ancestors and everything, and what they liked. There's just countless factors that influence these things that we really cannot realistically trace and find exactly what is causing you to like or dislike certain food. That just is very um dates back to long time ago, and just so many factors throughout childhood experiences and everything that we kind of just have to accept that, as it is really difficult to control. But food is kind of, it's kind of whatever, and doesn't really have that much of an impact unless you strongly like unhealthy food and strongly dislike healthy food. Then over time it is something that you can change, because like I said, it was, and research has shown that it is based on a lot of past experiences and your mindset. So if you, for example, a person trying to lose weight, they will try and they'll switch their mindset. They will want to eat healthier, and they can kind of force themselves to, over time, have this mindset in them, thinking about it every day, going to the gym and trying to lose weight, being really mindful of their food now and diet. So then they will definitely, it will definitely change their brain, and they'll start to like, healthier foods, and start to like not have the urge to eat unhealthy foods, because, well, healthy food, that part of the brain actually changes. There's studies that show that people can change dramatically and drastically over time. Um, it Because, like I said, and research has shown that the brain is a living organism. It is uh something that adapts a lot. It changes often, and whatever information you give it, it will remember. And it's, all the sciencey stuff, like, the neural pathways and um, neurons and the connections. They will make new connections. They will weaken. It will weaken soft, older connections, such as if you abstain from unhealthy foods for a long periods of time, it will weaken those, the connection between unhealthy foods and the urges and the pleasures gained from that, the dopamine. It will weaken those pathways so that over time, and you will forget and have less of the urge of eating those unhealthy foods. So yeah, 100% is based on influences, and however you can change that. Like, and this applies to anything. You can change basically your brain. You can change and improve yourself and get rid of those addictions if you really try and have those long periods of time where you do attempt and you do, attempt vigorously and be strict on yourself, be harsh. Over time, you will feel those changes. It's subconscious, it's not a conscious thing. You're not going to suddenly just realize, oh, I don't want to eat unhealthy food one day, but you will feel less of those thoughts that come into your mind, the thoughts that rise from the subconscious to your conscious. You're going to have less of those thoughts of, yeah, I have these cravings for the unhealthy food right now. Less of those thoughts will plague your mind, and more of those new thoughts that you really spend the time to strengthen the connection and pathway towards in your brain, then it will start to associate with healthy foods as good, and it will start wanting to eat those. And the next point was psychopaths. So psychopaths, those types of people, this is really hard to say because it is a medical illness. It is something that is diagnosed, and I'm not a doctor, so I cannot really give advice on this, but my opinion is that they can change, but it takes really a lot of effort. That's why people who my honest opinion is so from a religious standpoint, we all want to be good and we all want to do the right things. However, I feel this part, it's not really, still don't have a strong understanding of this with religion, because religion, you have to do good things, you have to do certain practices to get into heaven. And for a psychopath, that is really extremely unlucky and unfortunate for them. Some people may have the intention of wanting to change, but because it's in the brain, it's they're born with it, right? They try really hard, but it's just something that's permanently damaged in their brain. And for this point, it's really hard to say because, it seems to me that the higher power above didn't give everyone the equal opportunity to, get into heaven. Because if it was fair, then it would kind of make more sense, right? Of course life is unfair at points, and there's things that you cannot control and change, but this psychopath and psychopathic behavior, that part is they're kind of dealt with some cards. Let's say the cards are what you have in control of your life, and to play them right, then that means you can reach wherever you want to be and get into heaven if you're religious. But it seems like they kind of have been dealt with some cards that are really just a lose-lose in every situation. And frequently I would hear people they really undermine this part for the psychopath. There's a really big lack of understanding between a psychopath and a normal person. They might say, oh, just do the right thing, just control your urges, but these urges are it. I cannot say for them because I'm not a psychopath, but I would believe that their urges to like do bad things are just so overwhelming that it, you know, destroys every part of their life. It destroys their mental health, it destroys their physical health, their family, their connections, you know, their goals in life they might have had. It's just a really tough situation that like uh, eh, this part just, it's really sad. Like sometimes you just, even for them, like they probably try harder than most people, most, you know, people on self-improvement as well, like, and also perhaps even like the top performers, successful people, they try harder than them, but it just simply cannot work. You know, sometimes simply you're just born with some things that you really just, it just doesn't let you do things. For example, if you just, it's like being born like really short and you wanting to, let's say the heaven was like being a basketball player, like being in the NBA. That's just something you really, no matter how hard you try, you really cannot reach that point. That's how I feel kind of for these people with severe mental illnesses. Like it's just hard on every aspect of their life, and I cannot imagine like being in their place. It's just really a really unfortunate situation that, you know, where these influences and environmental and just genetic, that you just cannot change. And yeah, like so I don't really, that's just my opinion then. That's my opinion on this topic. um right, on to the next topic. LGBTQ and transgender things, transgender people. I mean, okay, that came out as really offensive, but okay. I'm gonna, this video from this point onwards is gonna sound really offensive, but like I don't care because fuck you. Like offensive people, like people who get offended easily, that they're gonna go nowhere in life. Like you have to have the humility to accept offense. Like offense means that you're insecure about something, and that, you know, something is true like about you that you don't like, but you have to hear that in order for you to improve yourself. Like that's why I believe that like why the modern day society is failing. Like it's because it is fundamentally flawed. The basis of its philosophy is fundamentally flawed. We advocate the PC society, the political correctness, the don't use these words, don't use those words because they offend this minority, whatever. This is fundamentally flawed because you it takes offense. It takes saying something different in order for people to change, in order to change and grow. Like that literally is how you grow. Like you cannot grow by hearing the same things every day, by doing the same things every day. The only time you can is if you hear something different, something that might hurt you, but you know that it is necessary for you. It is good for you. So how can modern day society change and the people in it change when they, you know, set up, it's like they're setting up all these like barriers, there's walls around them so that no harmful words can get to them. Dude, you're just gonna stay and decay in those walls. Like you're not going to experience anything new. You're just hearing the same things over, the same things that are comfortable to hear, but won't like help you to be a better person or change. As a matter of fact, change at all. You know. So that part I strongly believe that like this is a it's like this defense mechanism that modern society has created. It is incredibly, back to the point from the last video, of being incredibly hard to escape out of. It is because they set up these defenses for themselves so that they can heal what they want to heal. You'll probably have the same opinion as me, but I'll also like to hear what you have to say about this. Just how, like, people were offended, they won't get anywhere. You need to hear things that offend you to grow. You need to be able to accept them and to learn from them, not to be some feminist LGBTQ just lashing out like fucking like it's like insane what you see on the internet. That shit looks comical. Like, it is so hilariously just like, what is wrong with these people? They literally, like, some monkey has better brains than them. Like, bro, like, a monkey can behave better than them. Like, what are they doing? They're arguing and taking. They literally, I swear, deliberately seek out things to offend them. They want to be offended so that they have something to argue about, because their fucking philosophy, their point is so shit that they need to be offended by anything so that they have something that they can argue for. Like, bro, it is just so fucked. It is. Oh my god. All right. I going on to the next point. Um, it's about passions, athletes, success. Yeah, you talked about how pursuing your passion, like Ed Sheeran's concert. I believe, like, Ed Sheeran, he, like, probably is closer in touch with his, like, true self than any of, like, majority of people. People who find success in their passions means that those passions are truly their purpose. Like, sometimes, we'll change, and perhaps, like, a passion we have isn't really like according to our true purpose, but it's just something we're doing for fun for now. But for him, music, that is like, it is in touch with his true purpose. He, no matter if he started from nothing again, he will find a way to go from zero back to where he is now, a famous, really successful musician and singer, songwriter. He will find a way. If it is his true purpose, he will find a way. And if he has the right influences and environment around him, he will find a way. Like, there is no excuses. And same with any other athlete, successful person. If it is something that they truly are purposeful, their work is purposeful towards, like a purposeful to them, then they will find a way no matter what. They won't make excuses. Oh, this part, yeah, I really like this part which you said, how the Bible said how the prophets, you said, they spent a lot of time alone and with God in order to, find out who they are and what they really want, and to form a better connection with God. I think this is a really good point that you brought up, because yeah, this just exemplifies how important alone time is. Like, we can take it in a bad way, but we can also take it in a constructive, in the period of your life where you will be the most productive, most, towards your purpose, getting the most work done. It can be this time. This time, you can make it out to be like this. or you can, on the other hand, just waste it away because you fear the fear of being alone, missing out. I heard that from these books I read that these successful people, these truly successful, ultra successful people, they know how important their time alone with their mind is. There's authors, the authors of successful books, spend, they literally, there's stories of them where they spend days, weeks alone in the cabin in the woods to be alone with their thoughts, with no technology, because they know how important this time is, that only in this time can they create and think of original ideas when there is no other external influence around. And the famous author of Harry Potter, J.K. Rowling, to complete her book, she had to, literally, she didn't have to, but she she rented a hotel, a 5-star hotel for like, I don't know how much it was, but it was like in the thousands, I think, for a week or something to complete her final book I think it was her final book. And it wasn't about like, you know, living in a luxurious hotel or whatever. It was literally about like being away from her friend's family just so she can spend alone time, so she can complete her work. That is complete a part of her purpose with that work. And she couldn't have done it without that gesture, to actually just go out and rent this place that is far from her home, friends, family, and just completely immerse herself and focus on the work at hand. So I really liked your point of that, and that's why it is really underrated, like in the modern time, and especially harder in the modern time to spend alone time productively. But it is necessary. We've seen examples from, as you said, the Bible, the prophets, the successful people of the modern day, and from years ago. It's a practice that has spanned across human history. Only through this has new ideas come, has revolutions been created, and history has been changed. That's about it for my reply to your video. And actually, one more part was improvements. And as you said, yeah, we're both like not very good at this right now, but I really liked how you brought up this point, that we should remember that, and through doing these videos, we're gonna improve a lot. But for the improvements, I liked how you pointed out for me that I needed to talk in a faster pace, because I was kind of talking slowly. Even when I went through my own footage, like it felt like I was talking fast and clearly when I was doing it, like how I'm physically live, like doing it live right now. But when I look back on the footage, like sometimes it's just kind of slow. I didn't really talk that fast. It was just kind of it was just not that good. I thought I was a bit clearer or faster when I was doing it, but yeah, when I look back, it was like not that. It was definitely dragged out. It shouldn't have been like almost an hour long. And speak with more energy. Yeah, I'm working on that. And yeah, like more energy. Definitely from the first time I've done this. Dude, the first time was like felt really monotone and with lack of expressions. But the more I do this, like it's kind of natural. Like at first it was kind of awkward, like, and it just felt really uncomfortable because I've never really spoken just, you know, alone and by myself, like just speaking to myself, kind of like my parents probably think like I'm a psychopath or something, but yeah, I'm just speaking, with nobody around. That is just was a really weird feeling at the start, but um yeah, it's become a lot more natural now. Like, definitely not from the first time I was kind of like even scared, intimidated to even be louder and to like talk at all. But now I'm just talking, whatever I want, I'm just gonna talk about it. Like, I don't really care now. It's, definitely it just comes with practice. Like, the best way you can do this is through practice. No amount of books or whatever you read on this will help you improve your like presentation and speaking skills. It's only gonna come with practice. Yeah, and then next is voice emphasis. Yeah, I think might have I might have taken my own notes here. So I noted that I needed more emphasis, and yeah, I need more emphasis. Things like expressions, hand gestures, eye contact, like that will all come with more practice. And yeah, these like subtle things like hand movements and eye contact and just overall mannerisms, like it is really important. And it can really add to your what you're saying and to get the idea across. It's not just voice. Like, voice and language is a you know very vital form of communication, but yeah, through like thousands of years, we've always, it's subconscious, but we communicate way more with way more things than our voice. We communicate with our body language, our facial expressions, our hands, our tone. It all, comes together. Like, language and voice alone won't, deliver and make a sale